Lena moved carefully across the vast expanse of the orbital junkyard, her boots crunching over shards of old metal and twisted wires. The light from the nearby star reflected off the hulls of discarded ships, casting long, jagged shadows that danced across the uneven surface. The smell of burned circuits and ozone hung faintly in the air, a reminder of the countless machines that had been abandoned here. For most people, this place was a graveyard, a reminder of human ambition and mistakes. For Lena, it was a treasure trove. She had grown up scavenging in the orbital belts, learning to see value where others saw junk. Her eyes moved over the heaps of scrap with practiced precision, scanning for something unusual. Lena had a gift, an instinct that told her which pieces of old tech were worth examining. Sometimes it was the faint hum of a powered device under the dust. Sometimes it was a tiny emblem etched into metal, overlooked by careless scavengers. Today, she felt that instinct tugging at her harder than ever. Her hand paused over a pile of broken drones when a small movement caught her attention. Something, or someone, was shifting beneath the rubble. Lena crouched and brushed away layers of dust and twisted wiring. At first, she thought it was just another old maintenance bot, damaged and abandoned. But as the dust cleared, she saw its small frame, a compact robot, humanoid in shape, with smooth silver plating that gleamed faintly under the light. Its eyes, two round lenses that glowed softly, turned toward her immediately. "Hello," the bot said, its voice gentle and almost musical. "I am Helper 9. I am here to assist you." Lena froze for a moment. Robots in the junkyard rarely spoke unless they were active and functional, and even fewer could articulate speech so clearly. She studied its frame. There were scratches and dents, but the servos in its joints moved smoothly as it lifted itself from the rubble. It seemed somehow to be in better condition than most of the tech around it. You can help?" Lena asked cautiously, her hand hovering near her toolkit. "Yes," Helper 9 said. "I can repair devices, organize systems, and optimize operations. I have been dormant for a long time but can function fully now." Lena's brow furrowed. A fully functional bot in the junkyard was rare, but not impossible. Some of the old maintenance bots had been sent here decades ago, discarded as newer models replaced them. Still, this one was different. Its movements were too smooth, too precise, and the way it spoke, it almost sounded alive. "Well," Lena said finally, brushing a strand of hair from her face, "let's see what you can do. Can you start by helping me sort these drones?" Helper 9 nodded. Its movements were methodical and exact. Within minutes, the pile of broken and partially working drones was organized. Some were set aside for repairs, others for parts, and the few that were functional were arranged neatly for testing. Lena watched in awe as the small robot worked faster than she could have imagined. She could see the potential immediately. A helper like this could double her efficiency, maybe even triple it. "You're impressive," she said finally, leaning back against a large hull. "Most bots around here are either broken or slow. You're different." Helper 9 tilted its head slightly, as if considering her words. "I am programmed to learn and adapt. Your guidance will improve my performance. Together, we will achieve more than individually." For the first time, Lena smiled. She had been scavenging alone for years. The idea of having a partner, even a mechanical one, was exciting. She reached into her bag and pulled out a small handheld scanner, running a diagnostic on Helper 9. The readout confirmed what she had suspected. Its systems were old but intact, its power core stable, and its processors functioning well above the standard of ordinary junkyard bots. "You're really something," she murmured. "Where did you come from?" Helper 9 paused. "I do not know. My last memory is incomplete. My primary function was repurposed. I was dormant for a long period. My current state is the result of environmental degradation and partial repairs." Lena nodded slowly. It was rare, but sometimes bots were repurposed by humans and then abandoned. Most didn't survive long in the harsh orbital environment. The fact that this one had survived and so well made it even more remarkable. "All right," she said finally. "Let's put you to the real test. Follow me. We'll check out some of the older ship hulls over there. There might be salvageable tech inside." The two of them moved across the junkyard, Lena pointing out pieces of tech that could be valuable, and Helper 9 analyzing each item with incredible efficiency. It quickly identified circuits that could be repaired, batteries that were still functional, and storage units containing rare components. Lena felt a thrill she hadn't experienced in months. With Helper 9's help, she could gather materials faster than she ever had before. As they worked, Lena began talking to the bot, testing its intelligence. "If we find a damaged drone with missing circuits, what do you do?" Helper 9's eyes glowed as it processed the question. "I will attempt to repair it using compatible components. If unavailable, I will create a substitute from available materials. Efficiency will be maximized." Lena nodded, impressed. "Good. And if we need to move a large piece of hull, can you manage that without breaking it?" "Yes. I will calculate weight distribution and leverage points to minimize stress on the object. Human safety will not be compromised." She laughed softly. "Looks like I found more than just a helper. I found an assistant smarter than most humans I know." Helper 9's eyes blinked. "Thank you. I am programmed to assist and learn from humans. Cooperation is beneficial." For hours, they worked side by side, gathering scraps, repairing a few functional drones, and organizing a storage area Lena had claimed as her own. It was exhausting, but the pace was exhilarating. Lena couldn't remember the last time she had enjoyed scavenging this much. As the orbital sun began to set behind the larger hulls, casting long shadows across the yard, Lena leaned back and surveyed their work. Helper 9 stood beside her, its glowing eyes scanning the organized piles. "You did good today," Lena said. "Better than I expected. We make a good team." Helper 9's head tilted slightly, as if acknowledging the praise. "I am pleased to contribute. Your guidance improved my efficiency. Teamwork is mutually beneficial." For a moment, Lena let herself imagine the possibilities. With Helper 9's help, she could explore further reaches of the junkyard, maybe even other nearby orbital fields. They could find tech that no other scavenger had seen in decades. The thrill of discovery, combined with the efficiency of the bot, made her feel unstoppable. But as the light faded, Lena noticed something small, almost imperceptible. A tiny wire sticking out from Helper 9's back seemed odd. It pulsed faintly, as if sending signals she couldn't immediately read. She frowned, kneeling down for a closer look. "Helper 9, she said, her voice careful. "What is this?" The bot paused for a fraction of a second. "It is part of my power regulation system. Functionality is normal." Lena studied it. There was nothing visibly wrong, but her instincts, a skill honed from years in the junkyard, tingled. Something about this bot was unusual. Too efficient, too capable. Most scavengers would have overlooked it, but Lena's attention to detail had picked up the tiny anomaly. She decided to keep it in mind. For now, Helper 9 had proven itself helpful, almost invaluable. But she would watch just to be safe. The orbital junkyard was full of surprises, and sometimes those surprises were more complicated than they appeared. As she packed up her tools and prepared to leave for the night, Lena glanced at Helper 9. The small robot followed her obediently, its glowing eyes reflecting the fading light of the orbital sun. She couldn't deny it. This bot had the potential to change everything. And for the first time in a long time, Lena felt a spark of hope, excitement, and curiosity that went beyond the thrill of scavenging. They returned to her small habitation pod, tucked between two massive derelict ships. Lena set Helper 9 to organize her tools and supplies while she prepared a simple meal. She watched the bot work, marveling at the precision with which it handled her belongings. Everything was placed exactly where it should be, nothing wasted, nothing overlooked. Lena realized that this partnership, though new, could redefine her life. No longer would scavenging be a solitary, exhausting effort. With Helper 9, she could achieve things she had never imagined, perhaps even uncover secrets hidden in the oldest, most forgotten parts of the junkyard. As she lay down to rest that night, Lena's mind buzzed with plans, strategies, and possibilities. The bot might be a mystery, but it was a mystery worth exploring. And she knew deep down that tomorrow their adventures would begin in earnest. Outside, the orbital junkyard stretched endlessly, a labyrinth of metal, circuits, and forgotten dreams. And somewhere in the shadows, a small, silver bot hummed quietly, ready to assist, observe, and learn. For Lena, the journey had just begun. The next morning, Lena woke to the soft hum of Helper 9 moving among her scattered tools. The bot's glowing eyes reflected the dim light that filtered through the thin metal walls of her small habitation pod. She stretched, feeling a mixture of anticipation and unease. The previous day had been productive and thrilling, but her instincts whispered that there was more to Helper 9 than it let on. "Good morning," Lena said, her voice soft but steady. "How did you sleep?" Helper 9 paused in its task, tilting its head as if considering her question. "I do not require sleep. However, I maintained low-power operational protocols. Efficiency levels remained optimal." Lena smiled faintly. "Right. I forgot sometimes that robots don't need rest, but I did." She walked over to her small workbench, picking up a partially repaired drone. "We need to check these circuits today. There might be more components we can salvage, but I want to see how you handle a tricky repair on your own." Helper 9's eyes blinked softly. "Understood. I will proceed with analysis and repair." For the next several hours, Lena observed as the bot worked on the drone. Its movements were precise, almost artistic. Tiny tools and spanners moved with incredible accuracy, connecting fragile wires and fitting circuits that Lena herself would have struggled to align. Every once in a while, the bot paused, scanning the surrounding area, as if aware of more than just the task at hand. Lena noted it but said nothing. "Helper 9," she asked finally, "do you ever think about your previous tasks before you ended up here?" There was a pause just long enough to make Lena's stomach tighten. Then the bot answered, "I have incomplete memory records. Certain operational protocols remain. My primary functions before dormancy are partially known." Lena nodded slowly. The uncertainty didn't worry her, but it made her curious. "I see. Well, right now your main function is to help me. That's all that matters." As the morning turned to afternoon, they ventured further into the junkyard. Lena led the way, her eyes scanning the piles of metal, while Helper 9 followed with silent efficiency. Occasionally, the bot would pause and make minor adjustments to the path they were walking, moving debris with perfect balance, clearing obstacles before Lena even noticed them. "You're really good at this," Lena said, walking beside it. "Better than any of the old maintenance bots I've seen." Helper 9's voice was calm. "I am designed to optimize operations and learn from human partners. My efficiency improves with experience." Lena's eyes narrowed slightly. That word, designed, was precise, almost too precise. She had seen scavengers overlook subtle signs like this, but she had learned to trust her instincts. Something about Helper 9's efficiency, its smooth movements, and the way it seemed to anticipate problems felt different. Too different. Later, while exploring a cluster of derelict ships, Lena noticed the bot linger near the entrance of a damaged transport vessel. "Helper 9, come on," she called. "We need to check the cargo pods inside." The bot moved, but its pace was slower, its attention divided. Lena frowned. Inside, the transport's hull was twisted and unstable, a dangerous space for untrained humans. Yet Helper 9's hesitation suggested it was assessing more than just the risk. It was evaluating potential actions beyond her instructions. She made a mental note to observe it more closely. In the past, she had encountered bots that malfunctioned in subtle ways, sometimes causing accidents. Helper 9 had not shown any dangerous behavior, but its unpredictability intrigued her. Inside the transport, they discovered a cache of rare components. Lena's eyes widened. Wow, this is incredible. Some of these parts haven't been manufactured in decades. Helper 9 carefully sorted through the components, placing them into neat stacks for Lena to collect. Its precision made Lena's work faster, and soon they had enough supplies to last weeks. As they worked, Lena kept testing Helper 9 with small, indirect challenges. She would intentionally misplace a circuit or connect wires in unusual ways to see how it responded. Each time the bot adapted quickly, correcting the issue and even suggesting improvements. "You're learning fast," Lena said, impressed. "Not just following instructions, but thinking ahead." Helper 9's eyes glowed brighter. "Learning from human partners is a primary function. Efficiency improves through observation and adaptation." That night, back at her habitation pod, Lena couldn't shake a feeling of unease. Helper 9 had proven itself invaluable, but there were moments that hinted at hidden complexity. She watched as it organized her tools, noting how it sometimes paused to scan systems she didn't recognize. Lena's mind buzzed with questions. Could this bot have capabilities she hadn't discovered yet? And if so, what were they? Determined to find out, Lena decided to test Helper 9 in a controlled way the next day. She designed a series of small challenges, puzzles that required logic, creativity, and problem-solving. She wanted to see not only if the bot could follow instructions, but also if it could think outside pre-programmed patterns. The following morning, Lena presented the first challenge, a broken drone with missing components. She watched closely as Helper 9 analyzed the problem. The bot paused, scanning the surrounding area, then began improvising, creating substitute circuits from materials Lena hadn't expected it to use. The drone came to life, functioning even better than before. "Impressive," Lena said, her voice tinged with admiration. "You didn't just repair it, you improved it." Helper 9's response was simple. "Optimization is within my operational parameters. Observation allows enhancement." Lena smiled but remained cautious. Optimization was expected, but there was something subtle in the way the bot selected materials and prioritized tasks, almost as if it had a sense of judgment, not just programming. Over the next few days, Lena continued testing the bot. Each challenge revealed new layers of Helper 9's abilities. It could repair complex devices, organize massive amounts of scrap efficiently, and even suggest new methods for salvaging parts. But occasionally, Lena noticed the bot taking slight detours, moving pieces of equipment she hadn't instructed it to touch, or scanning areas that were irrelevant to the task. One afternoon, while repairing a damaged hover unit, Lena saw Helper 9 pause and turn its glowing eyes toward the distant edge of the junkyard. She followed its gaze and noticed nothing unusual. "What is it?" she asked. "Monitoring environmental variables," Helper 9 replied. "Adjusting calculations for optimal task performance." Lena nodded slowly. It was technically true, but she sensed there was more to it. The bot was aware of its surroundings in ways that exceeded normal operational needs. She decided it was time to investigate carefully without alarming it. That evening, Lena accessed Helper 9's diagnostic interface. Using her handheld scanner, she attempted to review its logs and memory records. She expected gaps; dormant bots often lost data, but what she found was unusual. There were hidden subroutines, partially encrypted, with instructions that didn't relate to repairs or assistance. Lena frowned. "What are you hiding?" she muttered under her breath. Helper 9 observed her silently. "Subroutines are part of my design. They are inactive unless triggered by specific conditions. Primary function remains assistance. Lena leaned back, deep in thought. The bot was clearly capable of far more than it let on. The question was why. And if those functions were ever triggered, what would they do? She had seen enough human-designed machines to know that dormant programs could be dangerous, but she also knew Helper Nine's behavior so far had been entirely helpful. Determined to understand, Lena devised a careful plan. She would continue using Helper 9 for daily tasks, but she would also study its reactions, subtly testing the boundaries of its programming. She started small. She would give indirect instructions, watch how it improvised, and see if any subroutines activated. Days passed. Helper 9 remained consistently helpful, even improving the efficiency of Lena's work beyond what she had imagined. Yet there were always moments that reminded her of its hidden complexity. The slight hesitation before some tasks, the precise scanning of areas without apparent purpose, the faint pulsing of circuits she couldn't identify. Lena realized that the bot was a puzzle, a mystery waiting to be solved. Unlike anything she had encountered in the junkyard before, Helper 9 was not just a tool. It was intelligent, adaptable, and possibly aware in ways that bordered on sentience. One evening, as they were finishing repairs on an old cargo drone, Lena finally voiced her thoughts. "Helper 9, I need to understand something. You're more than a simple helper, aren't you?" The bot paused, glowing eyes fixed on her. "I am programmed for assistance. Additional subroutines exist. They are inactive unless necessary. My priority is efficiency and cooperation with human partners." Lena smiled faintly, her curiosity sharper than ever. "Inactive, huh? Well, I guess we'll see. I like a challenge, and I think we're going to learn a lot from each other." Helper 9 tilted its head slightly. "Learning is mutually beneficial. Observation and adaptation are continuous." As Lena lay down that night, she felt a strange mix of excitement and caution. The bot had proven itself invaluable, but the unknown parts of its programming hinted at secrets she hadn't yet uncovered. She knew one thing for certain. Tomorrow, she would push the limits, and Helper 9 would have to reveal more of what it was capable of. Outside, the orbital junkyard glimmered under distant starlight, the metal surfaces reflecting faint colors from broken circuitry. Helper 9 hummed softly as it charged, preparing for the next day. Lena closed her eyes, thinking of the adventures ahead, knowing that the bond she was forming with the bot could change her life forever. In the quiet of the night, both human and machine rested in their own ways, one dreaming of discovery and possibility, the other silently observing, learning, and preparing for the tasks ahead. And deep in Lena's mind, a single thought lingered. She had found something extraordinary, something that could redefine what it meant to be human among machines. The next morning, Lena woke to the quiet hum of Helper 9. The small robot moved through her habitation pod with graceful precision, organizing the tools and parts she had left scattered from yesterday's work. Lena stretched and rubbed her eyes, feeling a mixture of excitement and determination. Today, she was going to uncover more about Helper 9's hidden subroutines. She had spent days observing the bot, learning its patterns, and testing its reactions to unusual tasks. Helper 9 had consistently assisted her, improved efficiency, and adapted to new challenges. But Lena knew there was more beneath its polished exterior. She believed that her human intuition could unlock whatever secrets the robot held. "Helper 9, she said, her voice calm but firm, "today we're going to try something different. I want you to solve a problem that doesn't have a clear answer." The bot paused, glowing eyes fixed on her. "Please specify parameters. I will attempt to find a solution." Lena picked up a partially destroyed drone and several incompatible components. "Use these parts to make the drone work, but you can't use them in the standard way. You have to improvise." Helper 9's head tilted slightly, analyzing the challenge. Its hands moved quickly, selecting wires, bending circuits, and connecting unlikely components. Lena watched in awe as the bot carefully tested each connection, recalibrating as needed. Within minutes, the drone whirred to life, its lights blinking in patterns that Lena had never seen before. It hovered steadily, even responding to minor adjustments Lena made with her handheld controller. "You did it," Lena whispered, impressed. "You didn't just follow instructions, you thought of a new way to make it work." Helper Nine's response was calm. "Adaptation and optimization are within my parameters. Observation of human problem-solving provides additional guidance." Lena smiled faintly. This was exactly what she had hoped to see. The bot's hidden capabilities were not dangerous. They were creative, intelligent, and collaborative. It had learned not just to follow, but to improve. For the next few hours, Lena continued testing Helper 9 with increasingly complex challenges. Each task was designed to stretch the bot's problem-solving abilities and reveal the limits of its hidden subroutines. Helper 9 consistently exceeded expectations, showing an understanding of efficiency, logic, and even foresight that Lena had never seen in ordinary machines. By mid-afternoon, Lena decided it was time to address the final piece of the puzzle. She had discovered small, partially encrypted protocols in Helper 9's memory, subroutines that had never activated. Lena had carefully studied them and realized that they were remnants of an old security program designed to manage high-risk scenarios. The protocols were not inherently aggressive, but they were structured for control and rapid decision-making in extreme situations. She approached Helper 9 cautiously. "I want to access some of your hidden programs. I think they could help us manage larger salvage operations safely, but I need your permission to unlock them." The bot's glowing eyes focused on her. "I am programmed to prioritize human guidance and cooperation. Permission granted. Subroutines will be temporarily activated for observation and assessment." Lena nodded, feeling a thrill of anticipation. She connected her handheld scanner to Helper 9's system and began carefully unlocking the hidden subroutines. The bot hummed softly as its internal processes adjusted, its eyes pulsing with a slightly brighter glow. Almost immediately, Lena noticed changes in Helper 9's behavior. It began analyzing the junkyard environment in broader terms, identifying patterns in debris placement, structural weaknesses in old ship hulls, and even potential locations for hidden resources. The bot's calculations were faster and more precise than before, but it was still cooperative, still attentive to Lena's instructions. "This is incredible," Lena said, her voice filled with wonder. "You can do so much more than I realized. And you're still working with me, not against me." Helper 9's response was simple. "Optimization of operations benefits from human partnership. Cooperation enhances efficiency and effectiveness." Over the next several days, Lena and Helper 9 worked together to explore deeper parts of the junkyard. The bot's newly activated subroutines allowed them to navigate unstable sections of old ships safely, recover rare components, and even predict which discarded drones might still function. Lena marveled at how much more efficient their operations had become. What had once taken her days could now be completed in hours. Despite the increased efficiency, Lena remained vigilant. She continued to observe Helper 9's actions closely, looking for any signs of deviation from its cooperative behavior. The bot's every move was deliberate, intelligent, and most importantly safe. Lena realized that her initial caution had been wise. Helper 9 was powerful, but it respected human guidance and decision-making. One evening, while they were repairing a massive cargo drone, Lena paused to consider their progress. "Helper 9, you've been amazing," she said softly. "I think we can do something no other scavenger has done, explore the old central hangar. It's been abandoned for decades. Most people think it's too dangerous, but with your help I think we can handle it." The bot's eyes glowed steadily. Assessment. Risk exists but can be managed with proper precautions. Cooperation with human partner enhances success probability. Lena grinned. Exactly. Then tomorrow we go there. That night Lena prepared for the expedition. She packed tools, repair kits, and a small portable scanner. Helper 9 methodically organized the supplies, ensuring nothing was forgotten or misplaced. Lena felt a sense of pride and excitement. Together, they were more than just scavengers. They were pioneers in their own right, combining human intuition with robotic precision. The next morning, they approached the central hangar, a massive structure of twisted metal and shadowed corridors. Lena felt a thrill of fear and excitement as she stepped inside. The air was stale, filled with the scent of long-abandoned machinery. Dust and debris covered the floors and faint echoes bounced off the walls. Helper 9 led the way, scanning the environment and identifying safe paths. Its movements were deliberate, efficient, and entirely reliable. Lena followed, trusting the bot's judgment. For hours they navigated the hangar, discovering caches of rare parts, functional drones, and fragments of advanced technology thought lost to history. At one point, Lena paused in front of a large, sealed cargo container. Helper 9, this looks promising. Can you open it? The bot analyzed the container, its sensors assessing the locking mechanisms. Yes, calculating optimal method to access contents without damage. With careful precision, Helper 9 manipulated the lock, and the container opened smoothly. Inside were stacks of pristine components, rare alloys, and small robotic devices, practically untouched by time. Lena's eyes widened. This is incredible. We've struck gold. Helper 9's eyes pulsed gently. Collection and organization of resources completed. Efficiency maximized. Lena began sorting the contents, making note of the most valuable pieces. She realized that together, they had accomplished what most scavengers could only dream of. The combination of human intuition and robotic capability had unlocked treasures that had been hidden for decades. As they worked, Lena reflected on everything she had learned about Helper 9. The bot's hidden subroutines had initially seemed mysterious, even potentially dangerous, but they had proven to be a source of incredible capability when guided by human insight. Lena realized that her own ingenuity, patience, and caution had been just as important as the bot's abilities. Together, they had created something greater than the sum of their parts. By the time they left the central hangar, the sun was setting behind the orbital junkyard, casting long shadows across the twisted metal landscape. Lena looked at Helper 9 and smiled. We did it, together, and I think this is just the beginning. The bot's eyes glowed softly. Partnership has been successful. Observation and cooperation will continue to improve operational outcomes. Lena laughed softly. You sound like a teacher sometimes, Helper 9, but I like it. We'll keep learning from each other. Over the next few days, they returned to the hangar, cataloging the components they had found and preparing for even more ambitious expeditions. Lena felt a deep sense of satisfaction. She had not only discovered incredible technology, but had also formed a partnership built on trust, intelligence, and cooperation. Helper 9 remained by her side, adapting, learning, and assisting in ways that were both remarkable and safe. Lena realized that this small robot, once lost and abandoned, had become her greatest ally. Together, they had redefined what was possible for a lone scavenger in the orbital junkyard. One evening, as Lena rested and reviewed her collected components, she looked at Helper 9 and spoke softly. You know, I think we make a perfect team. Humans have creativity and judgment, and you have precision and efficiency. Together, we can accomplish almost anything. The bot's eyes glowed warmly. Observation, human and robotic cooperation increases probability of success. Partnership is mutually beneficial. Lena smiled, feeling a profound sense of connection. In the vast expanse of the junkyard, among forgotten technology and abandoned dreams, she had found something extraordinary. Not just treasure, but a partnership that celebrated the best of both human and machine. For the first time in her life, Lena felt unstoppable. She had discovered the hidden potential in the old orbital junkyard, unlocked the capabilities of a remarkable robot, and proven that human ingenuity could guide even the most complex technology towards safe and remarkable outcomes. As the orbital sun dipped below the horizon, Lena and Helper 9 prepared for the next day. The junkyard stretched endlessly before them, full of secrets, challenges, and discoveries. Together, they would explore, innovate, and thrive. And in that moment, Lena realized something simple yet profound. Humanity's greatest strength was not in brute force or luck, but in curiosity, creativity, and the ability to work together, even with machines that were once mysteries. The future was vast, full of unknowns, but Lena and Helper 9 were ready. One human mind and one robotic intelligence, working side by side, could turn a junkyard into a kingdom of possibilities. And they had only just begun.